When you think of China, you might think of mega projects like the Great Wall or the Three Gorges Dam, and unfortunately, you might also think of pollution. But you don't always think of mega green projects, which is why I want to talk about some of the green projects China has completed or is currently working on, and how they might help improve the environment. If you clicked on this video, you might be interested in protecting the environment, which is why I partnered with Planet Wild. Planet Wild is a really cool nature protection organization based in Berlin, but I will tell you more about them at the end of the video, and there I'll share with you a special gift for the first 200 people from my community. But let's first jump into this list and talk about some of these impactful projects. Starting off this list, we have China's mega photovoltaic green hydrogen project. Sinopec Group announced last year that its 20,000 ton per year green hydrogen plant in Xinjiang has begun operations. This one had me scratching my head at first, but after diving into the details, it is actually a really interesting project. According to reports, construction started in March 2022, and the project mainly deals with photovoltaic power generation, power transformation, hydrogen production, and hydrogen storage and transportation. The plant relies on renewable energy such as solar power and wind power to produce hydrogen, rather than the conventional natural gas. It is estimated that it will slash around 485,000 tons of carbon dioxide emission annually. Hydrogen fuel has the capacity to generate a high level of heat necessary for industrial processes such as steel, cement, glass, and chemical production. This makes green hydrogen a valuable tool in the effort to decarbonize the industrial sectors, and it can also be used in the transportation industry and is likely to find its largest applications in shipping and aviation. This project, if successful, could be a new model for not only China, but the entire world. Many countries use hydrogen in manufacturing, and many countries are also looking to reduce their carbon emissions, which is why this mega project could lead the way in the future. And speaking of leading the way, next up is a mega renewable project in Shanxi province. According to reports, state-owned Jinan Holding Group is building a $7.7 billion green energy project that will help power Beijing. The project is planned to connect to the grid by the end of 2025 and will power Beijing in the nearby city of Tianjin and Hebei province. The facility, which is being built in a derelict coal area in the mining hub of Datong, will have 6 gigawatts of wind and solar capacity and 3.4 gigawatt hours of energy storage. According to China Daily, renewable energy is expected to become a major part of capacity expansion for China's energy and power consumption by 2025. While an increase in the renewable energy consumption will account for around half of the increase in primary energy consumption by the end of 2025 in the country. This mega expensive project is just another example of how China is trying to clean up its energy mix. According to reports, China has installed more wind and solar power in the last decade than most countries combined. And if you like wind power, this next project will blow you away. Jokes aside, the world's largest wind farm is in China. The Gansu Wind Farm project is located in desert areas in the northwest province of Gansu. Since the first 5.16 gigawatt phase of the Gansu project was completed in November 2010, the wind farm has comfortably held the spot as the world's largest wind farm. When finished, the farm will have over 7,000 wind turbines installed. In 2021, the farm had reached the capacity of 10 gigawatts, and it is set to reach the capacity of 20 gigawatts when completed. According to reports, China ranks first on a list of 15 countries that produces the most wind energy. China's installed capacity of wind and solar power reached 820 gigawatts at the end of April 2023, accounting for around 31% of the country's total installed power generation capacity. China now has some of the largest onshore and offshore wind farms in the world, and they have future plans to build even more. By 2025, renewable energy should make up more than 50% of China's total energy mix. It is really great to see countries like China invest in green energy, but sometimes these mega projects can leave us feeling small and insignificant, which isn't the case at all. The most important part of creating a more sustainable future is people just like you and me, which is why I partnered with Planet Wild to create this video. Oftentimes, mega projects can take years to complete, and that leaves you feeling anxious because it feels like nothing is being done today. But that is where Planet Wild can help. If you prefer immediate action instead of waiting for politicians or mega projects to actually make a difference, you can join the Planet Wild online community and start making a difference right now. Every month, Planet Wild works with a new nature protection partner across the globe to protect endangered species, clean up waterways, or restore forests. I just watched their most recent video about restoring forests in Scotland, and it blew me away. Their team traveled to Scotland to help transform a monoculture plantation into a real forest by cutting down thousands of trees. It's missions like these that you can financially support and thereby do your part in protecting the environment. As a member of Planet Wild, you can see how your monthly contribution and those of others have been invested in nature conservation, what has been achieved directly, and what is being aimed for in the long term with 100% transparency for you as a member. I will talk more about the benefits of becoming a member at the end of this video, but let's jump back into the list and see what other projects China is working on. This next project is often overlooked because it isn't one location or single group that is working on it. I'm talking about electrifying all of China's buses. According to the BBC, at the end of 2022, China's Ministry of Transport announced that more than three-quarters, around 77%, or over 542,000 of all urban buses in the country were new energy vehicle, a term used by the Chinese government to include pure electric, plug-in hybrids, and fuel cell vehicles powered by alternative fuels such as hydrogen and methanol. In 2022, around 84% of the new energy bus fleet was pure electric. As China builds out its green energy networks, it is also working on electrifying its transportation. We all already know that buses are a great alternative to cars, but by electrifying them, China is able to remove tons of CO2 each year. One of the most remarkable aspects of this mega project is the speed in which China electrified the bus systems. In 2015, 78% of Chinese urban buses still used gas or diesel, according to the World Resources Institute. This means that in less than a decade, China has flipped that number, with around 77% now being electric. Electric buses aren't only great for reducing air pollution, but they also reduce noise pollution, which can affect local wildlife. In 2017, Shenzhen became the first city globally to replace all of its buses to battery-powered vehicles, which had a real impact, with a 2021 study showing that the move had significantly reduced greenhouse gas emissions and air pollution in the city. In terms of real impact, this next project hasn't lived up to the hype yet, but I love this one the most, which is why I've added it. I'm talking about the Green Towers by Italian architect Stefano Boii. There are a few of these towers around China. Some are in Nanjing, Huanggang, and Chengdu. If you've been watching my videos for some time now, you know I love plants, as you can see, and of course, this mega project was going to make the list. The idea is actually pretty simple. By incorporating trees into our building designs, we can have vertical forests that provide shelter for wildlife and reduce CO2 emissions. Trees are still the best way to recycle our air and remove CO2 emissions from the atmosphere. But oftentimes cities don't include enough green spaces, which can lead to the heat island effect, causing cities to become hotter and often more polluted. Which is why I think this is a great project and many cities should start incorporating these green towers. We've made it to number 1 on this list, and if you know anything about green projects in China, this will not surprise you. Number 1 is the Great Green Wall, which is one of the largest green projects in the world and is still an ongoing mega project. I could make a whole video about this project, but I will give you the highlights in case you are unfamiliar with this crazy project. The program started in 1978 and is planned to be completed around 2050, at which point it will be 4,500 kilometers or 2,800 miles long. It is basically a reforestation program with a goal to stop the Gobi Desert from spreading. The Great Green Wall project's proposed end result was to raise northern China's forest coverage from 5 to 15%, thereby reducing desertification. As of 2009, China's planted forests covered more than 500,000 square kilometers, increasing tree cover from 12% to 18%, and it is now the largest artificial forest in the world. This project is really amazing, but there has been some criticism about monoculture plantations because many of the trees planted are the same kind. If you want to know more about monoculture plantations and why they are bad for the environment, you should really watch Planet Wild's video about restoring Scotland's forest. I will link the video below, and if you want to know more about Planet Wild, I will also link their website below. I can tell you one of the things that I like most about Planet Wild is 91% of their funds received through memberships are distributed based on a community's vote and spent in 4 impact areas: forests, oceans, animals, and awareness. The remaining 9% is their service fee, putting them in the top category of any environmental organization. Another great thing is that you can become a Planet Wild supporter starting at just $6 a month. So if you can afford 2 cups of coffee a month or a Netflix subscription, you can afford to help save the planet. Head over to their website and become a member today and help us save the world. If you're still on the fence about living in a better world, the first 200 people that sign up using my code, which is in the description below, will get the first month free. If you like all of the features, like voting for projects and a community of like-minded heroes, then you can stick around and make this planet better with Planet Wild. Thank you for watching this video, and be sure to check out Planet Wild. I will see you in the next video.